What's up, guys? Brad here, and today I'm bringing you the top 7 legendary cards that were power creeped out of the game. So basically, these are just legendary cards that have similar effects as other cards, and you're not going to see these legendaries because the other cards are more useful. Let's just jump right into it. Number 7, we have Ice Howl. So Ice Howl is not a bad card. 9 mana, 10/10 charge, can't attack heroes. Was played a little bit, but nothing too crazy. The only problem is that once it rotated out due to the Grand Tournament, Charged Devilsaur came into play, Journey to Ungoro. It's an epic, so you could have 2 of them in your deck, 8 mana, 7/7. It's a beast, can be drawn from Curator, and also positive thing is that it can also attack your face once after one turn's passed by. So it seems like it's a little bit better in my opinion. If Ice Howl had the same effect as that, where it could attack your face after one turn, Ice Howl would definitely be better, but it can only trade into minions unless you're going to silence it yourself. Another positive perk thing is if you get this card from Free from Amber Priest, you're able to just attack their face right away because the battle cry doesn't play. Where Ice Howl, if you drew that from Free from Amber, it's still going to have the same ability of not being able to attack your hero, the opponent's face, no matter what. So I just think Charged Devilsaur is a little bit better. Doesn't mean there's still niche situations where Ice Howl is better in some like Ramp Druid decks, but I think you're more likely to see Charged Devilsaur in the game. So number 6, we have the Hunter legendary Princess Huhuran. 5 mana, 6/5, not bad stat wise, but for whatever reason the card never picked up play because it was too slow. The battle cry trigger of friendly minions death rattle effect seemed cool at the time. There was a lot of theory crafting around what it could be done with this actual battle cry, and we thought Death Rattle Hunter was going to become a thing, but it never was. Well, they decided to print Terror Scale Stalker, which is a rare card. 3 mana, 3/3, still not the greatest card, but it just shows that how bad Princess Huron is. The only thing that Princess Huron has over Terror Scale Stalker is the fact that it is a beast, but you can run 2 of these and you can at least play, a Savannah Highmane plus Terror Scale Stalker on the same turn and, utilize the Death Rattle. Where Prince Huron, you can't unless you're playing Wild and you have Emperor Thorson go off. Same thing in Wild, Terror Scale Stalker and Sylvanas go a little better together than Princess Huron and Sylvanas because it costs too much mana. Pretty much, yeah, this is another card power creeped right into oblivion. Princess Huron is gone. And just to let you know, yes, they do get worse and worse as it goes on. So Ice Howl was probably the best case scenario where you'll still see that card. But as you'll see moving on to number 5, we have Gruul. Gruul, the 8 mana, 7/7. At the end of each turn, gain +1/+1. Never was really a great card. Only time you'd really see it is if it came off of some random effect. But nonetheless, it has a cool text to it and can definitely see as it being powerful. The only problem is that right away they printed Shade of Naxxramas, and basically they made it cheaper with the same effect, except it's not the end of every turn. It's at the start of your turn, and it's just a plain better card, cheaper. You let it build up. It has stealth also. This card is just awesome. It's probably a little broken, and that's pretty much the reason why it is so much better than Gruul, and plus the fact that it is an epic, so you can play 2 of them in your deck. Seems to be a common theme in this list, is that it goes from legendary to a rare or an epic card. But nonetheless, Gruul, I don't think I've ever seen this card played actually in a deck unless it was like from a random effect, as I've said. And we'll go to number 4 here is Herald of Village. 6 mana, 5/5, Battlecry. Summon a 1/1 copy of each of your other minions. So Herald of Village, once again, was theory craft by plenty of people thinking, all right, well, what can you do with this card? It could be kind of utilized decent using, Nerubian eggs, other other Death Rattle minions to basically take advantage of the battle cry, and it just never worked. I never seen anybody really utilize this card well at all. And especially now, since in Ungoro they decided to print the Mirage Caller, which, yes, it doesn't copy every minion on the board, but it has a similar effect where you get to choose one at 3 mana, and it's a rare card. So basically, you can run 2 once again in every deck, and it's just so much more flexible. The card is actually very strong. So they had a right idea with Herald of Village, but the problem is they just didn't get it down quite right. Where Mirage Color, I think they fixed it, and they realized that the effect that they had wasn't as powerful as it probably they thought it probably was. So number 3, we have Cho'Gall, 7 mana, 7/7. Battlecry, the next spell you cast this turn costs health instead of mana. Back when this card was released in Whisper of the Old Gods, everybody was theory crafting about how this was going to be pretty busted, and all the different combinations of 7 mana, Siphon Soul for basically 3 health. It's pretty strong. Plus, you could, if you're desperate, board clear with Twisting Nether, just Shadow Flame. So, a lot of theory crafting went on, and then, of course, in Ungoro, they decided to print Blood Bloom, which is a epic card. So once again, you can play 2 of these in your deck, and for 2 mana instead of 7, your next spell you cast is health instead of mana. So, pretty broken card compared to what they originally printed as a legendary. I don't think Cho'Gall will ever see the light of day after Blood Bloom has come around. So yeah, there's just so much more flexibility with Blood Bloom compared to Cho'Gall. You're basically committing the fact that you're going to have Cho'Gall on the board only, where Blood Bloom, you can at least do Blood Bloom plus, Twisting Nether or Doom, and then on top of that, play a 8 mana card if you're at 10 mana at that point. So a lot more flexibility with the card, as I said. So yeah, Cho'Gall is dead. So number 2, we're gonna do Chillmaw, and I'm sure many people are saying, well, Chillmaw wasn't a horrible card back in the day. It was a legendary card in the Grand Tournament. It was a dragon, helped the dragon synergies a lot. Pretty cool art, as you can tell. 7 mana, 6/6. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage to all minions. So it was a little bit of a board clear time, which wasn't too common, especially with dragon decks. But then came along in Ungoro once again, Primordial Drake, which once again is an epic card. And it's at 8 mana, 4/8 with Taunt, and the battle cry is deal 2 damage to all other minions. So it's a little more versatile in the sense that once you play it, it automatically does the area of effect damage, compared to having to kill off Chillmaw, where they could run their minions in efficiently as they want, or even silence, which silence isn't huge anymore, but still there is always that little bit of worry in the game of being silenced. Yeah, Primordial Drake, as everybody knows, is being played in so many decks, especially since there aren't many dragons anymore. So if you're running any bit of you want taunts, you want a little bit of board clear, you want to run the Curator package with dragons and Beast or Murlocs, this is usually the card that people go to. So that is why Chillmaw is kind of power creeped out, and I don't think you'll really see him too often, even in Wild, even if he is already rotated out of Standard. And number 1 is going to be the Mistcaller, and I put this at number 1 just because, well, the Mistcaller, 6 mana, 4/4. Everybody thought this card was going to be so powerful with its effect, giving all minions +1/+1 in your hand and your deck, but it ended up being a little too slow. And the fact of it is that in the Frozen Throne, basically we have Prince Keleseth, which is coming out, which is also a legendary. So we're not going to see 2 of cards, kind of like most of the other cards that the legendaries have been in this list. but Prince Keliseth seems to be a little stronger. I don't think it's at that strong, really. I think the card won't be played much at all, but I do think that Prince Keliseth is better than the Mistcaller just due to the fact that it's cheaper and you can kind of build it to be a control deck, and it's also neutral, so it's not just shamans that are utilizing this. I don't really know what the Mistcaller was going to do at the time, because it's like meant to be a control deck because you have to wait to play him, but the card's buffed. It doesn't really matter too much, where if you play Prince Keliseth right, at 2 mana and he's your only 2 mana card, everything's buffed right away. So on turn 3 you're already having more powerful minions. So yeah, that's gonna be the list. I'm sure, speculation wise, number 1, I mainly put them there just because it's talking about the new expansion. So I don't really know if that is the biggest power creeped one out of everything, but nonetheless, it's still a fun topic to talk about. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are below in the comments. So thanks for watching. Have a great one.